Kirk Frost has finally broken his silence, and what he just revealed about love and hip-hop is shaking the entire reality TV world. For years, fans have watched the drama, the betrayals, and the shocking twists unfold on screen. But according to Kirk, everything we thought we knew was a lie. From backstage manipulations to cast members being forced into explosive confrontations, Kirk is exposing the dark truth about what really goes on behind the cameras. And the biggest shock? He says he was set up. Sources close to Kirk reveal that he's been holding on to this truth for a long time, afraid of what might happen if he spoke out. But now, after everything he's been through, the cheating scandals, the public humiliation, and the brutal backlash from fans, he's done protecting the show. He's ready to spill everything about the lies, the betrayal, and the power moves happening behind the scenes. What did producers force him to do? Who was in on the setup? And most importantly, why is he speaking out now? Stay tuned, because what we're about to reveal will change how you see love and hip-hop forever. Kirk Frost had been silent for too long. But now, he wasn't holding back anymore. Sitting in a dimly lit room, his expression was serious, almost as if he was carrying the weight of something he had kept hidden for years. He took a deep breath, exhaled slowly, and then finally said the words that sent shockwaves through the industry. It was never real. None of it. Fans had speculated for years that reality TV wasn't as real as it seemed, but hearing Kirk say it outright changed everything. The show that had made him famous, the platform that had turned his personal life into entertainment for millions, was all carefully controlled, manipulated, and scripted in ways he never imagined when he first signed on. But what pushed him to speak out now? Why was he finally telling the truth after all these years? It all started when Kirk noticed something strange happening behind the scenes. First, it was little things, the producers asking him to repeat certain lines, encouraging him to react a certain way, and even suggesting how he should respond in emotional moments. He brushed it off, thinking it was just part of making good television. But then, the situations became more extreme. There was one night in particular that changed everything for him. Cameras were rolling. The lights were bright. He had just walked into what he thought was a normal scene. But something felt off. Rasheeda was standing there, arms crossed, anger in her eyes, but it wasn't real anger. It was the kind of forced tension that only happens when someone is being coached on what to say. Later, Kirk found out that before he even walked into the room, producers had already spoken to Rasheeda, telling her exactly how to react. They had fed her lines, planted ideas in her head, and turned a simple conversation into a full-blown argument, just for ratings. But that wasn't even the worst part. The moment Kirk started defending himself, something shocking happened. A producer stepped in during the scene. Right in the middle of filming, he heard an unexpected voice. "No, no, no. Say it like this." Cameras cut. Kirk was stunned. This wasn't reality TV. This was a scripted setup. They wanted drama. They needed conflict. And they were willing to push the cast to their breaking points to get it. Kirk couldn't believe what was happening. For years, he had been manipulated into being the bad guy, while the show's producers orchestrated every single fight, every betrayal, every emotional breakdown. But there was something even darker happening. As he sat in his dressing room that night, staring at himself in the mirror, he overheard a conversation that made his blood run cold. "Just tell Rasheeda we have something on Kirk," one of the producers whispered to a crew member. Kirk froze. What did they mean by something on him? What were they planning? He quickly realized that they weren't just manipulating scenes anymore. They were creating entire fake scandals, and this time they were about to use his name to pull off one of the biggest betrayals of all. First, he thought maybe he had misheard. But then, as the whispers continued, he realized this was no misunderstanding. Producers were plotting something that would make him look worse than ever before. Spying on his own show. For years, Kirk had been painted as the villain of love and hip-hop. Every storyline seemed to revolve around his mistakes, his cheating scandals, his drama with Rasheeda. No matter how much he tried to fix things, the show always found a way to drag him back into the same narrative. And now they were planning something even bigger. He had to find out what. So Kirk did something he never thought he would have to do. He started spying on his own show. Late at night, when the cameras were off, Kirk began hanging around the production crew, listening in on conversations, watching how things were set up. And what he discovered shook him to his core. The producers weren't just manipulating the cast. They were paying people to lie on camera. The ultimate betrayal. Kirk overheard a conversation between one of the show's top producers and a new female cast member. She had only been on set for a few weeks, but now she was about to become a major part of Kirk's storyline. "You just have to say you had an affair with him," the producer told her. Kirk's heart nearly stopped. An affair with him? He didn't even know this woman. He had barely spoken to her. But here was a producer offering her money, telling her to lie on camera and claim that she had been secretly involved with Kirk behind Rasheeda's back. That moment, everything became clear. The show didn't just thrive on drama. Created it. The cheating scandals, the explosive fights, the broken relationships, none of it was real. It was all carefully crafted, designed to keep viewers hooked. And Kirk? He was just another pawn in their game. Enough was enough. Kirk was done playing their game. If they thought they could control him forever, they were wrong. This time, he wasn't going to sit back and let them destroy his name. This time, he was going to fight back. And what happened next? No one saw it coming. Who was that? A producer? Someone from the network? How did they know what he was planning? Had they already found out that he was recording? That moment, Kirk realized just how deep this went. This wasn't just about reality TV anymore. This was about control, power, and protecting the empire they had built. And Kirk, he was their biggest threat. Question now was, what was he going to do about it? Kirk sat frozen, staring at his phone. That voice, the calm, cold warning. It wasn't just a random call. Someone was watching him. Someone knew exactly what he was up to. His heart pounded as he glanced around his living room. Had he gone too far? Was he actually in danger now? He needed to talk to someone. Someone he could trust. And there was only one person who came to mind, Rasheeda. For years, their relationship had been tested. Betrayals, scandals, fights, it had all played out in front of the cameras, but now this was bigger than a reality TV storyline. This was about the truth. He dialed her number. The moment she picked up, he knew she could hear the tension in his voice. "Kirk, what's wrong?" He hesitated. Could he trust her with this? "I need to see you," he finally said. "It's serious." There was a pause on the other end. And then Rasheeda sighed. "Kirk, if this is about the show, it's not just about the show," he cut in. "It's about everything. They're lying to us, Rasheeda. They've been lying for years." Silence. Then, in a softer voice, she said, "Come over." An hour later, Kirk was sitting across from Rasheeda in her kitchen, his phone on the table between them. He played the recordings, the whispers from the producers, the instructions to fake fights, the staged drama that had nearly destroyed their marriage on TV. And with each passing second, he watched Rasheeda's face change. First confusion, then disbelief, and finally anger. She stopped, shaking her head. "They did this to us?" "They controlled everything," Kirk said. "Every time we fought, every time we broke down, every time you doubted me, it was all set up. They knew exactly how to push us." Rasheeda exhaled sharply. "And we fell for it." Kirk leaned forward. "They're going to do it again, Rasheeda. They've got this new girl claiming I cheated. It's all fake, but they don't care. They're setting me up to be the bad guy again. And if I don't fight back, they'll ruin me." Rasheeda looked away, rubbing her temples. "So what do we do?" "I expose them," Kirk said without hesitation. I go public. I put everything out there, the recordings, the lies, the manipulation, everything. Rasheeda's eyes widened. Kirk, you realize what that means, right? You won't just be going against the producers, you'll be going against the whole network. I know, he said. But I don't have a choice. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Rasheeda reached for his phone. She scrolled through the audio clips, replaying them, letting the reality sink in. And finally, she said the last thing Kirk expected. Then we do it together. Kirk's head snapped up. What? You're not in this alone, she said firmly. If you're going to expose them, I'll back you up. I've been on this show just as long as you have. If I speak out too, people will listen. Kirk swallowed hard. This was the first time in years that he and Rasheeda were truly on the same page. But before he could say anything, her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and froze. It's one of the producers, she muttered. Kirk tensed. Don't answer it. But Rasheeda was already tapping the screen. Hey, she said cautiously. Kirk watched as her expression darkened. What you mean, keep Kirk in check, she snapped. He's not doing anything wrong. She stopped abruptly, her lips pressing into a tight line. Whatever was being said on the other end of the call, it wasn't good. Then, slowly, her eyes met Kirk's, and the fear in them sent chills down his spine. She ended the call, staring at her phone like it had just burned her. They know. Kirk's blood ran cold. They know about the recordings? They know you're planning something, she whispered. Kirk jumped to his feet, pacing the kitchen. How? How could they possibly? And then it hit him. The last time he met with the producers, the last time they asked him to play along with the new storyline, there had been cameras, mics, recording everything. They've been watching me this whole time, he muttered. Now it made sense. The phone call, the warning, the way the producers were suddenly acting different. They're trying to scare me, Kirk realized. But then Rasheeda shook her head. It's worse than that, she said. They don't just want to scare you, they want to control you. And if they can't, they'll make sure you never work in this industry again. A heavy silence filled the room. Kirk knew she was right. If he went through with this, if he exposed everything, he wasn't just risking his spot on the show. He was risking his entire career. And then, before Kirk could process what to do next, his phone buzzed. Another unknown number. Rasheeda and Kirk exchanged a look. Slowly, he answered. A deep, unfamiliar voice spoke. You need to stop, Kirk. Kirk's grip on the phone tightened. Who is this? The voice ignored him. You're making a mistake. Walk away now or you'll regret it. Call ended. And just